بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على محمد خاتم النبيين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم افتح فتوح العارفين
آمين.
اللهم افتح علينا حكمتك
آمين.
وانشر علينا رحمتك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. The Shemائil of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like Habib Qadim said, some of them are for us to be in awe and inspiration, to find it inspiring about the beautiful nature of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But there's others that you're going to see that are going to give us something specifically to imitate or to do. Now, when you look to the Sahaba, like this next hadith is Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman. He was Sahibul Sir of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's the one who was given, like when any top secret message needed to be like kept secret, he would say Hudhayfa. He would call Hazrat Hudhayfa radiallahu ta'ala, and he would be the one who would be told these secrets. He was a secret bearer because the Prophet ﷺ knew that you place these secrets in a place which is going to be safe. And the heart of Hudhayfa was safe. It was like a fortress that nobody could get in except when the Prophet ﷺ wanted to extract it and take it out. But if you were to look at the Prophet, Sayyidina Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman, if you were to look at Abu Bakr Siddiq, if you were to look at Hazrat Umar ibn al-Khattab, you'd see the Prophet ﷺ in them. They were the ones who looked at these kind of hadith and they would absolutely emulate them first time they heard it. So this hadith is عن حذيفة بن اليماني رضي الله تعالى عنهما قال أخذ رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بعضلة ساقي فقال هذا موضع الإزار فإن أبيت فأسفل فإن أبيت فلا حق للإزار من الكعبين أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والتسليم. So Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman is mentioning this beautiful hadith, and he's going to start a topic of, which inshallah will continue next week, where he says the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam just walked up to Sayyidina Hudhayfa radiyallahu ta'ala anhu wa ardahu, and he took hold of the calf muscle in the blessed hand of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Another narration, he says, I felt the coolness of the hand of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam on my calf muscle. And as he held it, he says, "Hada mawdi al-izar." This is where your idar, your lower garment, should come to. That's the extent of it. فَإِنْ أَبَيْتَ. If you want to have it a bit longer, فَأَسْفَلْ. Slightly, you can have it a bit lower than that if you want. A bit more further down the shin. فَإِنْ أَبَيْتَ. If you want it further than that, فَلَا حَقَّ لِلْإِزَارِ فِي الْكَعْبَيْنِ. Then there's only the extent of the ankles. Above the ankles. There's no right of the izar past that. Now we have to understand the context over here. There's going to be many hadith. He says, وَعَنْ إِبْنِ عُمَرَ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى عَنْهُمَا قال رَآنِ النَّبِيُّ صلى الله عليه وسلم أَسْبَلْتُ إِزَارِي. So Ibn Umar is mentioning that I saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw me أَسْبَلْتُ, that I was dragging my lower garment. فَقَالَ يَا ابْنِ عُمَرَ. He says, oh Ibn Umar, كل شيء لمس الأرض من الثياب في النار. Is everything which touches the ground, the ground from your clothes is in the fire. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال ما أسفل من الكعبين من الإزار في النار. Similar hadith of Abu Huraira, that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم says, this is specifically for men. He says ما أسفل من الكعبين, that which is below the ankles from your lower garments, izars, is in the hellfire. Now the context that I was speaking about is that when we looked at the way of dressing of the arrogant ones of that time, either the Roman Empire, the Persian Empire, they said the longer the garment and the longer the trail behind, it showed how up you were in society. So like the kings and the emperors, they would have garments that they would almost be trailing behind them and people would be holding them. Much like you see sometimes in the royal weddings and things, you see the popes and the priests that they're gonna have, because they're at the top of their like almost hierarchy. They have people and they have children usually holding them behind them, and that's from that era. The Prophet ﷺ saw that it was creeping into society. So you always, when you what you see around you, sometimes it rubs off on you, and you want to be like the people around you. You're either influenced or you're gonna be influenced. There's no third way. So some of the people were. So these hadith, you have to understand in that context that anybody who does it out of khuyala is going to come inside here. Anybody does it out of arrogance, as the people of haughtiness and arrogance do. He says that is the wa'id and the severe punishment for them people. It comes in other riwayat that's not mentioned over here, that there'll be a person who's going to be the most severely punished. He'll be a one who's going to be walking around dragging his garments below his ankles, and the earth will swallow him up. And another riwayat says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not look at the person who's a musbil al-izar, the one who drags his garment below his ankles. And that's severe. Some of the, and most of the ulama and the akabirin would, just out of fear that they don't fall into that, they would make sure that the trousers were above their ankles or even halfway up the shin. That's something which is like in this society, which is, if it's not done necessarily out of arrogance, then it's makruh, what the ulama say. Makruh karaha, disliked. But if it's done out of arrogance, there's no doubt that it's going to be haram. And Allah protect us, because them wa'id and them punishments have come. And that's why the Musannif says, وَهُوَ مَحْمُولٌ عَلَى مَا وَرَدَ فِي قَيْلِ الْخُيَلَاءِ. This is with the condition that it's with khuyala, arrogance. That's because of the hadith of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala. Abu Bakr Siddiq, when he heard these, he was worried, the color changed in his face. He came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he says, what about mine? He says, mine are always going below my ankle. And one of the things, because of he had a bit of a belly, so when his izar, it would always ride down, and it would make his garment, even if he pulled it up, it would go down slightly, and it would go below his ankles. So the Prophet ﷺ says, no, Abu Bakr, not you. He says, illa bil khuyala. He says, only if it's done out of arrogance. And that's why the ulama take that, for huwa alladhi warada fihi al-wa'id. He says it's only with regards to those people who do it out of arrogance. Now, if you look then by extension to the Sahaba around them, you're going to see different riwayat that are coming up now. That's going to give you a display that it wasn't just words, but it was action of those people that were around them. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from these kind of wa'id and never be of those that are arrogant. And Allah protect us from arrogance. Allah give us the mahasin akhlaq of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for tawfiq, that we can tread in the footsteps of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and give us real love and ittiba of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam inwardly and outwardly. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.